Round 14 trades video. Now, let's get into some strat because it's a tough week and decisions, there's a lot more ramifications on these decisions than a normal week because now that trade number is getting low. A lot of us are under the 10 mark in that single digits, and now I'm looking to get into triple digits for my rank. And I know that using trades is going to get me there, but will it bite me in the butt later on? This week, the trades that I do want is JC and Aiken. And I can't do that without doing 3 trades or doing 2 trades and selling Payne Haas. For next week, I am in need of 2 players, 1 wing fullback and 1 edge. And that's where someone like Ewan Aiken comes into the play and JC. I'm also sitting next week with either Savala or King Tonga in the half position if I was to make those couple of trades as well. So the big question mark for me this week is, can I sell Payne Haas and get away with it? Does Payne Haas moving out the side, does that help me, yes, get the better team? Probably not this week because Payne could go nuts. But from round 15 to round 20, does it help my squad with that? With Payne missing 15, 18, 20 definitely backing up, and we saw here last week not scoring as well. Round 14, round 17 will be the ones where hopefully the players that I've brought in and the improvements in different positions, like my wing fullback, like my half position, could pay off in dividends. And these are the things that are running through my head. I just went on and did a little workshop with the private crew guys watching along as I do sometimes there, just when I'm working out my schedule over the bye period and the guys that I want and how it fits and all those types of things. And Matty T did mention, wasn't on the channel this week, but he did mention, he's with Aiken looking at round 18, it's pretty tough. There's a lot of mids, a lot of edges that are playing. So he's more looking at Lucas coming up to edge. And that's an option as well. If I wasn't to get Aiken, even looking at that, I still can't sell anyone that I do want straight to JC as well. And with Tamale, Yongi, Garrick, not as formidable as we want it to be. People sitting there with Teddy, with JC already, held Kiraz or bringing him back in. Got Fletcher Sharp down there. I'm sitting here in my loop slots right now. So there's a few things to work out. Now, Sharp and Tavanga, they're going to be looped in my side. I could muck around with Dylan Lucas as well as an option to do some moving around there with the edge position, but it does make it a little bit tougher to do that when I've got guys like Katonga sitting there who are likely to sell. Kolomatangi, you'd have to go into my midsection, and it just requires a little bit more thinking. So that's fine. I could loop all 3 of those guys. I could also try and loop Garrick this week as well. Now with looping Garrick, he'd just be in this 5-6 type of section there, and who do we trust more, Garrick or Lucas in this first clash? You'd say Lucas has more of that upside, but then again, if I'm holding on to Nafahu White, Wong and Savala, then I only have the room for 1 player to miss out on the side. So I really, really do hope that all of these guys score really well tonight in Sharp, in Tavanga and Garrick, just because I'm sitting there with less options available. But if one wasn't to score well, and when I say not well, we've got King Tonga as my replacement, and we are unsure how Tavanga's going to go. So basically, I'm fairly well locked in on the guys that I need to hold on to or play. Savala could be moved on though. So what I was looking at was Katonga and Payne Haas to move out of the side for JC and for Aiken. And with that, it does move a few of these guys in my starting side anyway. I think Kolomatangi and Couchman would have to sit up here. I'd probably have Garrick in my number 5 slot if I was to not be playing him as current, but then I'd have to already have JC locked in and traded in. And the only way to do that would be to make a couple of trades. So it's, all of this, it's not foolproof, that's for sure. And there's plenty to think about. Where are you at right now with your team? Are you looking to make a couple of trades? Are you going under the 10 mark? Are you well under that? Please tell me there's someone on here that watches that's down to 0 after this week, or was it 0 last week? That would be hilarious. Let's just say it'll be funny to see. It's always a one point in the season that someone in the Facebook group posts the first time that they've hit the donuts, 00, with using their last 4 trades in 1 week. No, let's not save them with, a couple of months to go. And they're usually like, oh, see you in round 20, guys, when it's, round 13, 14, that type of range. So very, very good to see at all times. That one, especially when it's someone in a good position, but usually I suppose it's not. And that's why they're just going, stuff it. I'll just roll through the trades, have fun and come back in a few weeks. So yeah, likely to be sitting with 18 at the moment. And could I do some looping in center with Lucas then? It looks like I can. Tamale could come up into that position. If I couldn't loop Fletcher Sharp then, yeah. So maybe I'll just roll with the double loop there and lock and load the other 2 guys and hopefully they both score well. But if Javanga doesn't, then could play to King Tonga. But I think at this point, he'll be the guy left out of the side and we'll just play the 17 that we have available. And those guys are really, really strong. Hosking, people are selling this week. I understand he doesn't actually help me in round 18. I've got a lot of guys for that week, and that's something to note. I only have the 3 Raiders. So that's not too bad for that week. Probably by that point might sell 1 or 2 of them. Hosking could go next week for me. Like if I made the Katonga and the Haas trade, leaves me with a couple $100K in the bank there, and that could help me with getting a Hosking to a Teddy or something like that next week, which is something on my mind as well, to try and improve the wing fullback position for next week, and would stop me from having to play a King Tonga up in half, or Savala, whoever is available this week, that next week. And then I can make some decisions on guys like Savala, on Katonga be gone, on Yongi as well. That's hopefully a bit over 500K. And the majority of these guys then would be sticking solid in the side. And Nafahu White we can decide on after next week. Hopefully he's back and playing. That would be a bit of a kick to the gonads if he is out. Just Savanga, I think we're just naturally holding all the way through to the end of 18 and deciding on him. So when I look at the side at the 21, there's not too many guys I would want to sell. Yongi's scoring pretty well, making some cash, but he's likely to move on. Hosking, could easily bounce back, and that's what I'm hoping for here. We've got Jazz, who's coming to the end of his tether. We've got Savala and Katonga. So it's only really 4 to 5 guys. If Payne Haas goes as well, we don't want to sell him, but it might be helpful with that price point and what we can do with that cash. And then when it comes to round 21, just do a double trade there. Get the cheapie of the flavor of the week there, the cheapie, whoever's coming in, or a cash out, something like that. That can help me in 1 or 2 weeks, but just be a looper in others. And then upgrade one of the guns that's injured or whatever else to Payne Haas in a return. I think at this stage, Cleary sticks in the side longer term, even though he misses 16. And that's where looking at that extra half or having to, being able to move Sharp or JC up to half would work out really well for my side. Just a quick look over at my Supercoach side. I was looking at Matt Burton, like I was talking about in the video earlier in the week, but I have decided to change that with me having a fair few Seagulls. With them missing round 16, I've got Garrick and Hopewadi down there and then Olakwatu. I just thought that was a little bit tough. I think I'm sitting there pre-trades with 17 available. At this point, I've decided to go Billy Smith down to Lawson and bring in Jaden Campbell. So looking to bring in another top-tier gun that can help me all the way through to 18, and then we can make a few more trades there in that one. And the squad looks really good now with not having to play Horsburgh unless there's laid out. And yeah, the rest of the team's looking in good shape with Teddy down there. Drinky should have an interesting week against Melbourne, but could still score well. Hopefully there's not much rain down there for those 2 guys. But yeah, that's the Supercoach side. And then moving on to the private group team, I think the initial first trade that we're going to do is going to be Leo Thompson to the Couchman, given the help that he can create for this side. So he'll come into that. And then he'll move up into the starting side. Katonga, Tedesco, so let's just move him up into the bench for now. Jazz Savanga will be looped. Fainu's on the bench. He can be looped as well, but they play a lot later in the week on Sunday afternoon. So he can be like a last sort of final decision if we need it. Teddy's out, Savala's out. We can do a couple more trades, sitting with 13 remaining. We could go 2 more in this instance. Katonga could be moved on. Purdue, we're happy to play, but hopefully it doesn't go too poorly this week. It could be like Savala down to Lawson and Katonga up to Jaden Campbell is something we're looking at. What we do need heading into next week was 2 mids and an edge. So Couchman's come into that side, makes it 1 mid, 1 edge. And then Lucas can come up to edge if we wanted to. There in that one. What do we have there? Colo, Couch in our mids. Jazz in our hooker slot. Yeah, we actually need a little bit more, don't we? Yeah, Haas, May, Tarpany all out. No KPP, no Wong. Yeah, so we do need some improvement up there. So I'd actually look to potentially grab a different type of player. Like, to be honest, as a secondary trade this week, we could go to like a Randall very easily. Could wait just until next week as well. Lock and load with this squad. Likely not play King Tongia as well. And we have one other that could be left out of this side as well. So, yeah, Tavanga may miss out as well. And that would satisfy the 17 for this week, and then could use 3 or 4 next week to get to that final set team for round 15. It's kind of a general thought right now. Captaincy wise, I just think there's 3 options. They could all go really well. May's the safety net. Cleary again is the upside play against the Tigers, and then you've got Payne Haas, who if I was to sell this week, we know he's going to score really well. So that's how it works, right? But yeah, that's the squads. Likely to make those 2 trades, I think, and see how things go. But when tonight is Knights and the Manly boys, I am not looking to trade anyone in from that team, so I can watch that game tonight with the loops in hand, and then make my decisions a little bit closer, to tomorrow there, with May probably rolling as my captain. I said I'd just lock and load him the rest of the year, so there's not too many questions on that. But the team's looking pretty solid. I think we can move up into the triple digits this week and keep on going. And also, thanks to everyone that's been in the comments and saying nice things about my content and giving some feedback and different things like that. That's what I was saying. In that video, I was trying to I think it was more of a convincing thing to be like, the ease of this channel is there. The shorter videos, you know exactly what you're coming in for. In those 2 videos, you got the timestamps. It can be really short, sharp if that's what you want. If you want the deeper analysis, you can come here for that as well. So that was the main plea in that. I don't know if it came across as I was annoyed by the comments or whatever else. Like, I was more just like, I just don't think you're seeing what the offering is here. Is more what I was getting at. But a massive thanks to all you guys for coming, climbing in the comments, being nice, saying that they were silly, all that kind of stuff. That's fine. Everyone has their own opinion, that whatever else they need for their consumption as well. And there's been a couple of tips that have been put in there that I'll incorporate next week, which would be great. Just like bringing the timestamps back. If you have constructive help, that's awesome. Ways to make the videos better that are fairly easy for me to do or are on brand with what I do and how things work here. That's awesome, and I love that at all times. But just the random drive-bys to be like, oh, I'm just going to another channel, like, that doesn't really help anyone. And I'm usually going to call it out and say something about it just because it's fun. I like to do that. I like to open discussions, I like to have real chats, and that's where we're at. So thanks, guys. That's the trades video for the week. Yes, I haven't made any trades yet, but that's the majority of the time. Unless they're coming in as captain or I need to make something in the first round, the first game of the round, I will loop and I'll decide from there. So thanks, guys. I'll leave it there. We'll catch you in the next one.